Hey guys, Kevin Bennett here, and I'm really excited that I can share this moment with you. It's a bit of a vulnerable moment, to be honest with you, but I think sharing my journey is very important. Now, this video that I'm about to show you is myself with one of my mentors. I was going through a stumbling block in my life, and I approached him and I asked him if he can help me with that moment. Now, people normally ask me how powerful and how relevant is it to have a mentor? My answer from the age of 7 years old up until this present day, that a mentor is one of the most important and powerful decisions you can ever make. How you should look at a mentor is like this. Your mentor is like a sat-nav. You are here, he is there, and he can direct you through the path to your achievement, goals, or success. So from the age of 7, when my brother was my first mentor, I wanted to know how I could become more powerful in the world, how I can become more powerful in business. And this was from 7 years old. He taught me the power of the G7 and the G8. He taught me economics, and he also taught me geography. That led me on to my first business adventure where I made lots of money, and I was also very successful, and that was at the age of 12 years old. Throughout time, I've had all different mentors, from spiritual mentors to financial mentors, to my martial arts mentors, to geography mentors. I've had so many different mentors. Leading up to this present time, I have mentors in the spiritual sector that has really elevated me past a place of ego and so on and so forth. Now, when you're looking for your mentor, make sure that you look for certain things. Number one, make sure your mentor has good core values. You don't want a mentor that is going to send you into a place of destruction, and you don't want a mentor that's going to make you sell your soul. So make sure when you're looking for your mentor, he's definitely or she's definitely a person who has good ethics and good core values. Number two, make sure that your mentor is actually a doer and not just a talker. He or she achieves what they talk about. You don't want to be led by someone who's never done it themselves. Number three, make sure you're teachable. It doesn't make sense going around the world looking for a mentor, and when you find them, you're not willing to be taught and you know it all. Sit down, be quiet, and listen to every little thing they have to say, even if you disagree, because something at the end of it may change your philosophy or view. Number four, make sure you have the willingness to accept change. If you learn something and you're not willing to change, then it doesn't make sense learning it. So make sure that when your mentor tells you to do something and it may feel awkward to you, you do it regardless. That will be the winning side of your growth. I hope you enjoy this video as much as I enjoyed the teachings of the video. Thank you. Good luck.
Namaste, welcome everyone back to Satsang today. Very good. Okay. You want to come? Okay, come, keep coming. A second. Very good.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm happy that I'm here, you know. I got introduced to you over the net, but I met you in person. So that was good.
Very good.
You know, it's funny how when we introduce something into our lives, how it starts to manifest. And I appreciate that, you know. And then I didn't realize how close we were. So that was a good thing. I have two questions for you. But I don't desire an answer. I more desire an understanding so I can answer it myself. The reason why I say that is because day one, there are so many great questions that was answered. And then when I went home and analysed it, it led to another answer, which then I didn't know the answer to. So I think in that case, if I answer you for the answer, then I'll go away and then I'm going to want another answer and I have to find you again.
Okay.
So it's just more of an understanding. That's all. So I can.
Yes, of course, because in fact, I mean, if you, the whole purpose of my response also is that not just word for word something is held as a response, but that deeper than that, an intuitive conviction comes out of it, an inner knowing, so that later you may actually speak from that place. They may not come out with my words. They may come with your words, let's say like this, but with the authority of your own seeing. And that is understanding. Otherwise, if you're just saying, okay, I say this, you say this, then you repeat what I say. It's not this. And then for this, many people also, they come to satsang and they, someone may ask you, so what did you talk about? And you can't remember anything at all.
Exactly.
So, and I am not displeased about that, because sometimes it takes a while. It's a slow release for some people, and you have to digest your comprehension, your seeing, that it really enters into a place which is not just studied knowledge. It is really something like insight. Something becomes your own truth. So you're not just repeating like a parrot something somebody else say, but somehow you can speak about the same things in various ways because the understanding is secure. So I think this is what you're asking.
Yeah, based upon my relationship I have with the question that I posed, right?
Okay.
Yeah, which is the question.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it was day one or day two that a lady came up and she asked a very good question that I was actually thinking myself, which was based upon herself going away to a place of a retreat of some type in order for her to be around, I wouldn't say like-minded people, like-spirited people, in order for her to connect closer with herself. And I kind of come from that premise, but I didn't really, based upon how the lady answered it, it just didn't really connect with me based upon how you responded, obviously, because it was suitable for herself.
Yes.
Which I said the question, so I just need more of an understanding on it. Now, the reason why I answer this question is because, as we know, everything vibrates at a frequency. And I have been around people throughout my life that vibrates at a frequency that doesn't particularly vibrate at my frequency. So my choice is to be around like-spirited people. I wouldn't say like-minded because it's passing, like-spirited people. And I believe in order to do so, I may need to remove myself into another location in order for me to start with my stabilizers on. And then as I understand self, I can take the stabilizers off. And regardless where I go within locations, I can still be me. But at this precise time, being around a certain environment at times, I believe that I can easily spiritually or whatever it may be, fall in and out because I'm not trained enough.
Okay.
Just like if someone goes to university, if they're not skilled in order to whatever it may be, then as they go into different environments, it's very easy to be influenced, even when you don't realize.
I understand what you're speaking.
So, now that I've said that, now that I have said that, how you responded to the lady is you don't need to go anywhere.
Yes.
But I repose the question to yourself.
I am very happy that you put the question.
Yeah.
Because sometimes a question is put, and I am not necessarily answering the question, but the questioner. And this is why sometimes the responses are different. I may say something to you, and then one person come and I say, okay, fine, you just need to keep quiet and just stay with that thing. Another one said, but how can I keep quiet? And I said, no, you must work very hard at that or something. So it's not that there's one solid answer, and sometimes mind seems to want like a solid answer that's good for everything. So you brought I'm very happy that you brought it now.
Yeah.
Because in your case, it is good sometimes to step away from what is the familiar circumstances, familiar environments, where you simply find almost like a reflex, you're back in role playing again. And you're simply just going along with how you behaved yesterday, and you're seeing the same faces, and somehow it's just a kind of monotony about this. So what I've picked up from you is that, you recognize that it is not necessarily a very supportive environment, and that in order to pursue the truth and to be established in it, not learn it, but to be established, to be one with the truth, there's a feeling inside you that to remove yourself from the usual context, and so that you can, be more immersed without distractions. So for this, I'd recommend that you do this, that you come. Myself been speaking like that for some time now I've been traveling and sometimes meeting people. Some people I see them once a year for 3 hours, and that's it. And sometimes I have to say I'm astonished next time I see them how much to observe how much the old ideas of self has passed, and the light of real seeing is more present. But in many cases, I've been longing for somehow opportunity to be able to invite people to come and spend some time, a week or 2 weeks, really being immersed, not just in just teaching, but in the whole unfolding of life in the way that happens here. And to be in that space, I think it's really very, very important. And for that reason, I've been, well, now I've got to let, I have to let the cat out of the bag. But okay, but we, as many of you probably have heard, that we got some land in Portugal, and this is going to be a center for this very thing, where you can come. It will be like retreat situations. Always we have silent retreats, and there's ample land, ample place that you can walk and spend time on your own for miles, and be in that at the same time to have the full presence, potency of satsang daily. And somehow it seemed like it has manifested like this. We are in the early stages of that. I didn't feel I was going to speak about it like this. Of really just clearing land and so on. And there are some people from the Sangha who are helping at the moment, removing brambles and stuff like this and so on. But even here at this early stage, very, very powerfully, the satsangs are taking place like this. So this is the sense of where things seems to be moving, that then you can come and spend more time in a place. And I am myself, in response to what you're saying, actually, felt the need for that, because it is good to have intensives like this in London, and to feel that there are so many beings whose attention is turned towards this, the truth. That and it's very. Someone came earlier and asked about visions and so on, but I wasn't inclined to speak in that language. But now again, also I am speaking differently. That there's a feeling to provide the space that you can come and be immersed in this, and I can keep an eye on you throughout the day and so on like that. And I feel this is very, very good, because all too easy. Sometimes people go back to their usual environment, and it's like, phew, it's just gone. Seem like this. So this immersion is good. Years ago, it used to be that if we were back a few 100 years, not even 100, even 100 years ago, in certain places, in India certainly, it was the custom to spend 12 years in the presence of someone, a master or something, and to really be in that environment and really to soak up with the influence and to really get established fully in that. Nowadays we don't have the time. Nobody has time. Nobody has time anymore. Even the unemployed don't have time. So then consciousness had to kind of, upgrade itself and say, okay, now it has to be something fresh. And then beings have started to come, such as my own master, Ramana, who spoke very directly and say, that which you are searching for is not located at the end of some practice elsewhere, or it is not the product of time or sweat, but it is always ever here present. And it was present from before the beginning, and it is present here. And all that it requires is a change of perception and a recognition and somehow an openness. And it seemed more are drawn to this more than some very long-standing practices, which have their place also. Every line of approach has its fruits. But here it's direct. He said, if what you're going to find in 1,000 years, 100 years, next week, when you find it, it will be the same thing you're finding here today. It's a same discovery, that which is timeless. And I am feeling always something manifest like that, like a kind of urge that this needs to be known now. Not in some mission, not waving a flag about it, but somehow in response to the urge, to meet the urge of those who seem to be drawn towards truth, to find the shortest way of showing you that which is distanceless. And so many are coming now. Some people, they're tired of strenuous practices and so many steps and 15 steps too and all these things. So the direct way, this is what I've come to share with you. What is direct seeing to that which is ever present. You see? But somehow, as I say, it can take time to get established in timelessness. And because the mind is sprouts again, but, and again, and so gradually it takes time to stabilize. Some people more quickly than others, and more to somehow in proportion to the strength of the identification. So the seeming task of clarity, approaching real clarity, can seem that difficult or that simple. Many people now, I am so delighted, they say, but what you say is so simple. I say, yes, but what you are is simpler than that. You see, it's not because it is perfect already. It doesn't need to be worked on. What is true does not need help. It's the mind that needs help. The heart does not need any help because it is eternally perfect. And when a human being recognizes this, oh, what joy. Then they say, oh my God, oh, thank you, because I've been sweating and toiling for so long, and it was always here. So this is something that I say, yes, for this reason, I feel authentically we sometimes need the support of continuous immersion, and to be reminded and to see slowly when the mind is, wriggling out the door again, and to pull him back. Just come stay here. Yeah.
my second question for you, which once again I don't choose an answer, just an understanding, so I can answer it myself. I see myself as a block of ice, a square block of ice. I don't need to add nothing to it, just to carve away and make it right. That's suitable for me. So throughout my life, I've looked at things and I've been controlled, just like many others, by fear and other desires. And at one point in my life, I decided to get rid of everything that made me fearful. Things that was hard and things that was easy, but I got rid of them nevertheless. So then when I started to grow again, I was like a cake that didn't need no ice. It was nice without putting extras on. Then I started to come to another point where I wanted to establish and get things done by a particular age. By 25, I want to be this, and by 30, I want to be this, and so on and so forth. And in which, once again, introduced fear back in. I didn't realize this is another form of fear. And then I listened to yourself, and you make a very, very valid point that you don't put time on anything, let it be, which worked. And I thank you for that. But then something happened which was a bit strange. Now I've got that concept, and that concept actually works, and I don't put time on anything. But because I have businesses, I don't know how to implement time back into it, because I have staff and I have a team and so on and so forth. So on one side of me, I'm like, don't worry, let it be. Then the other side of it is deadlines and time.
Yes.
And I get torn apart because my business is an extension of me, because I'm passionate about what I do. So my passion is an extension of what I do. So in order for me to, in one hand, say, eliminate time, it will be. And in the other hand, time is a needed point.
Yes.
I've just been confused between the two. So I just want to have an understanding.
It's a good question. And I'm sure many people are keen to hear what I have to say about it. I don't yet know what I'm going to say. If you are still holding on to an idea that you are the doer of things, so that you are the one who establishes that, okay, now I chop this and so on. This is good, it's fine. But it still preserves the identity that has to make decisions and so on and so on. So now, decisions can be made somehow without this, and please listen to this, decisions can happen, can seem to be made without the firm sense of an identity behind them.
I don't understand.
Yes, I know. You are consciousness, first and foremost, appearing as a person.
Yes.
You're not a person appearing as consciousness. The human being is an expression of consciousness. They are not the controllers or possessors of consciousness. So we are, as a human being, the concept, I would say, excuse my word, I say concept of human being, we are the expression of that consciousness. Our greater truth is that we are consciousness. So sometimes you'll hear me say consciousness in its human aspect is like this. In another aspect like that. So the greater truth is your consciousness. And my addressing you is as consciousness, not as person. And I have found that secret to get the best out of you. Because if I engage with you as a person, then I'm struggling. And because the person is basically the person's mind. And inclination and opinions and experience and all of that. And it's a big entanglement at a certain point. But when you are aware of yourself as consciousness, there's an incredible space in you. And part of what humanity, in my view, is suffering from most deeply is a lack of inner space. The sense of inner space. Everything is so cluttered. Everything is so noisy. Everything is so now. Everything is so rushed. As consciousness, you don't have this trouble. Because it's not the same as, your hands-on, you have to take responsibility of everything in that way. Nevertheless, it is still consciousness and the vital force that has been somehow unfolding through this magnificent universe.
Right.
When the stars come out, when the sun is like this, when the moon is like this, when the trees grow, when the seasons are for planting and for reaping, when the animals go to hibernate, and when you feel like this, everything behind this, all these many millions of masks, one actor is playing through all of them. That consciousness is there. And that consciousness, you are that consciousness also. And so it's almost as though you can be functioning as consciousness at its root, which I call absolute awareness, which is impersonal and cannot be grasped by the mind in that way. Or as consciousness in its form, the sense I am, the sense I exist. That I existness, it's not a person, it's not a man or a woman, it has no religion. It's just a presence. It's consciousness. But as soon as consciousness, in order for consciousness to taste experiencing, it needs a body. And when the body is there, the tendency, it seems, the compulsion of all sentient forms is that they start to believe I am the body. And no one has escaped it. And the belief I am the body, then I am the son of this man and the mother and or the daughter of this person and the husband of this person or whatever, then other concepts can grow around you. But these came after. They are not original to your being. We acquired them, but the first acquisition was the feeling I am this body, which arose from this feeling I am. No. Have I lost you yet? That feeling I am is always underneath. Even the strangest ego grows out of that impersonal space, that consciousness, the feeling I am. And so sacred is that principle. Even, it says, when Moses had to go back into Egypt to speak with a Pharaoh who he was not welcomed in that country anymore. And said that it said in the Bible that God sent Moses, and Moses says, I can't go as myself because I'm going to be in trouble. Who should I say sent me? And the voice of God said, say I am sent you. And all the sentient beings are aware of themselves as I am. I am is your name. It is our godly name. Then the name that your parents give you was the name for your this is a boy, we call him John. That comes after. But that feeling I am is always here, the root, the consciousness I am. And if spirituality has any power, it's only to bring the I am out of the hypnosis, I am the body, I am this person, and to return it to its original state, just I am. That's the power of that consciousness, you see.
Can I get clarification on this?
Yeah.
Is it that I, from what my basic understanding, is it that in one side of me, or not a side, but
an aspect or something.
Yeah, an aspect of me, that I govern myself with one rule, but how I deal with other things, kind of separate that?
Spontaneously, this power is in us. Mm-hmm. Just like someone calls you brother, one calls you uncle, one calls you son, one calls you friend, one calls you employee, one calls you boss. And to each of these roles you are responding to completely spontaneously. You don't need any time to click into role. Something is responding spontaneously. And yet all the time you're beyond that. You know uncle. You're not an uncle. An uncle is an idea. All these things that you see, but we work with that, it's fine. And something responds to that. Yet you know that you are not merely that. You are beyond that. You're not any of these things. But yet those roles are still connected with you in that relationship, in duality, isn't it? So something inside is capable of outwardly doing everything, moving in the world and quite harmoniously. And yet inwardly you're in total serenity. and without identity.
I understand. The only thing what I'm just trying to get clarification within myself is a person is a person, but time is something you can't see. Time is something, maybe, I don't know if you explore time.
Yeah.
So there's certain things that are tangible that we can call someone an uncle or auntie.
Yes,
we can see it,
yes,
and we can label
yes.
it.
Depending upon how strong your own first identity is. If you are strongly John, then you will be strongly Harry, and you will be strongly Susan. But if you, in your intimate knowing, are consciousness, then something still responds to the name John, okay? But the real potency is in consciousness.
Right.
You see?
Yeah, I understand.
So when you are speaking about, like, let's give a very, very hands-on example. I am myself, you ask me sometime, okay, so what are we doing tomorrow? Well, I don't know. In the next 5 minutes, we're doing, okay, it's an intention, we play with this, okay, in 5 minutes, okay, let's do it in 5 minutes. And then the people say, but it's not 5 minutes, it's time to go. I'm saying, yeah, but it's not time for me to go. In that moment, I can see what is. So here, there is not such a dedication to time. So, okay, it's now time. Or, no, now I want to be here. Like this. And yet, at the same time, we are having to work with organization, with structure also, to make this available also. And we like things done well and on time and such and such and such. How is it that I can say, but I am that timelessness, but functioning quite accurately in time? Then it might seem, if you listen only with your mind, you say, but it's a contradiction. I say, I don't see any contradiction anywhere. Here, something is completely empty, not devoted to any particular thing or way of be or something. And yet, in my dynamic manifestation in the life, also we speak about, okay, this thing has to be done by Tuesday, okay, whatever, it happened. But it doesn't have the toxic quality of, oh, you got to, no, we're late, and no, and pulling your hair out and all of this stuff. It's not like that. So, you get this, what I'm speaking about?
I now understand, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you have a group of people working with business. I spoke earlier about King Janaka. He had to run his kingdom perfectly. He was an awakened being. He was not attached to the kingdom, not attached to the queen, not attached to anything. But at the same time, contrary to what the mind might imagine, because if you're not attached to anything, then basically you're to spend all your day in a hammock. And I said, no, every day he seems to be working and making things and signing treaties and so on, but he's not attached, and so beautiful, and he was known for his love and his compassion. Isn't it strange? That when you're free of that psychological pressure to have to be, then something functions very beautifully. It flows out from you. But there isn't you don't have a gun to your head. You realize, but there's no such thing. If life says you got a gun to your head, okay, let it go. Let it happen, because nothing I can do about it. I don't feel any power to resist that. So let it happen. So if we try to work it out by the mind, it seems very complicated and we can't come to any resolution. If you leave it be and stay as a self, everything gets done. Everything gets done. Some things won't get done, but you will come to see it was not necessary for those to be done. You see, sometimes you're so busy, you say, I'm too busy for meditation. But you sit undivided for 5 minutes and it gives you 5 hours back. Why? Because in that something is clarified and you see, but this, why I'm breaking my neck, this. But it can wait until later. That's not important. This we must send immediately. Okay, boom, finish. Eyes open, everything's fine. It's not a fantasy. The mind will keep you running on a treadmill. It's always the next, the next, the next, the next, the next. So people are then saying, you know, I can't come to satsang. I'm going to wait until my child starts going to school. Well, when is that? You may not be around. So a lot of things like this, we never seem to have time. If you listen to the mind in that way, without really being rooted in the self, you'll be misled. You waste a lot of energy. When you are undivided in your own self, some things become clear for you. And you may find that when you move to do that one thing, which seem that is truthful, that belongs, you go to move it and it's already moved. Something is already moving it for you. If you're moving as an individual, is me, my world, my idea, then you'll be moving in sludge quite often. But when you are aware, in your own awareness, and out of that time sprouts. You talk about the I think the I don't know what the word is you used about time, the tangibility you say or something. I don't know what you.
Time. I don't see time as something tangible.
Yes. Mm-hmm. What you mean by this?
Well, you can't touch it. You can't see it.
Yeah.
It's just like the wind, you know.
Yeah.
Only an effect of a wind you can see. Like if a leaf is blowing within it, then you can see the wind is active over there.
Yeah.
I don't see time. I don't think any of us sees time.
Yes.
So in that sense, you know, you don't build a relationship with time the way that you build a relationship with a person, because they're tangible in front of you.
And the point was? Sorry.
See, it's a bit hard now because we've taken a sentence out of our paragraph.
Okay, forget about it. Forget about it. Okay.
I think it was just more based around the fact that understanding how to relate time, how in one sense, how I've eliminated time, and then in another sense, I have to now introduce it back in to deliver it to others.
Yes. Keep moving in that place till you are come to the undivided seer, and then watch the world unfold through the eyes of God. We have very strong attachments to our own projections of how things should be, and they can go that way because so great is consciousness. You are moving in the permissive will of consciousness. You can say, you can do this, I want to go and do this, I want to go and do this, and you can do, but the fruits that you imagine may not be the fruits you get anyway, you see? That is also a path on a way of consciousness. But there are others who simply prioritize the very self-consciousness in the pure way, and find that that life is a harmony, a spontaneity, and they are not stressed out of that seeing. Something move. And there's room not just for activity, but for grace and love and peace. And all of this is encompassed in that understanding. They're not actively putting things in place. They're spontaneously finding them already in place. And that is the big difference. You see? But behind all movements, consciousness is there. But self-consciousness may be a little bit missing. Real self-consciousness. I'm not talking about psychological self-consciousness. So the whole purpose of this is to bring consciousness to be conscious of itself as consciousness and not as body-mind, not only as personality. You see? So then when the need for time arises, when it's appropriate to think in terms of time, time is present. When it's not necessary, it will not be present. then you see that time then is clearly seen. It is conceptual. And you may come to see at some point all is conceptual, which doesn't mean it's bad. Just that it's momentary. It's passing.
I just want to say thank you very much. I know it's the last day today, and my contribution back to yourself is that I will definitely pass on the word of the things I do understand, not the things I don't understand. Because I believe, from my point of view, that what you teach and what you introduce people to, and also the sense of self in connection, is what I believe will stop a lot of the problems in this world, from my point of view once again. And as I said, I think now that I know, well, it's not think, now that I know, I'm now responsible to pass on the word. So thank you very much.
Very good.